Hello and welcome to the Trade Ideas Live Trading Room recap for Tuesday, September the 1st. My name is Barry Enerson. I'm the moderator of our trading room. This is the address to get into the room, and you can log in with your Facebook or your Twitter account. Only going to go over a couple of trades that I posted in the room today. I actually posted more trades, but today was a lot of little scalps for me, so I'm not going to go over. I know it was the first trade. I lost a little bit there. Let's see. Deer made a little bit there. PPC made a little bit there. ACI made a little bit there. But these are just all little scalp type trades. Again, I'm not trying to be a scalper. I honestly am not trying to be a scalper. But you kind of have to take what the market gives you. And if I just feel that if I get into a trade and the SPY starts to go against me on the trade and the stock is not really trading on its own, then I really feel I have to get out of the trade. And for the most part, that's how I do trade. I always love, of course, as we all do, we love to find those trades that are going counter to the market or just trading on their own. And so here's a couple and here's one especially that really was a kind of a counter trade based on what the SPY was doing at the time. SMCI, and this is a perfect example of our red bar ignored strategy that we're loving so much. But I actually looked at this one early on in the day and I shorted this one on this candle right here. Shorted this one, and this is what I'm talking about how, I was in a very much a scalping mood. Shorted this one right here at 23.62 and I got out at 23, it says 49 there, but it's actually 23.50. And, and then the buyers took over and just drove it right back up. So that basically kept it on my radar. The fact that, okay, buyers took over, drove it back up. Sellers tried again here. Buyers took over, drove it back up. Tried again here. Buyers took over. And then it started this little increase here. And again, I had this chart already thumbnailed, so I had my eye on it. And of course, this is exactly what we're looking for. Here's the green bar. So a little bit of an uptrend, obviously a stock that's in a downtrend for the day, but starting maybe a little bit of an uptrend. You take a look at this candle here, nice wide candle, then a narrow candle, a narrow red candle. And I love this tail. Again, buyer or sellers tried to drive it down to 24. And the buyers drove it right back up to the 24.26 level. This candle is engulfed by the previous green candle, so that's what we're looking for. And so now, buy rights, I should have taken the trade about right here at 24.44, okay? My problem was, and I said in the room, I said, well, we've got the formation, but the SPY is against us right now. And the SPY was moving down at that point. And so I really kind of hemmed and hawed inwardly. I mean, do I want to take this trade? I mean, do I want to go against the market? But this candle basically convinced me that, for the time being anyway, that this was going to run counter to the market at the time. And of course, I looked at this, said, well, it's got a nice gap it could fill, 26.50, and we're only at 24.50. So it has a couple of dollars that it could get up. So I looked at it again. Contrary, there was no real resistance on the intraday chart, so I decided to take the trade. Took the trade right here at 24.62. I did get out some. I know in the room I said I was going to try not to scalp this. But I just couldn't help myself. As it got closer to that whole number, I was just worried that it might not break through the whole number. So I decided to take some off at 24.84. And then, yes, it did break through the whole number. And it got actually as high as 25.67. I don't think the bid, I was looking for a bid of 25.62. I don't think the bid got there because, I'm always looking for that $1. Just psychological. I mean, there's no other reason for it, but it's always nice to get a dollar in a trade. It sold off, kind of hung around this area for quite a while, and then I decided right here to opt out of the trade at it's actually 25.20, not 25.19. And so a very nice trade though, but a classic. This is the pattern, guys. Just watch this sort of a pattern, and it's amazing how, especially when you see the next candle kind of get above everything else, and this action here, again, just think about it. Sellers tried to drive it down. The buyers took over. A nice little narrow candle. You can put your stop right here. Now, granted, I mean, I, by all rights, I should have taken the trade about right here, 25, 24.40, 24.44, maybe a stop at 24.27. So, less than a 20-cent stop, not bad. Again, I'm way late. I mean, my stop would have been certainly right around here at the bottom of this candle. There's no question. I would never have let it get all the way down here. But, again, watch for this formation, the red bar ignored. Now, the other one was TRVN. Now this is not absolutely within the guidelines of a red bar ignored because in theory, this candle, the top of this candle is above the top of this candle. But again, I'm more interested to see what the bodies are doing. And if these candles are not excessive, unless it's excessive here, again, I don't mind if this is a long tail down because again, just think about the psychology of what's going on in that candle. Sellers tried to drive it right down, and the buyers took over and bought it right back up. As long as this tail up here, this topping tail up here, is not something that's way up here, and then because then you could say, well, the buyers tried to take over, and then the sellers just drove it down. And I don't mind if this tail is a little bit above this green candle. So again, red bar ignored. Now, this was obviously already in a tremendous uptrend. And this actually came from my Trade Ideas Winners Watcher watch list. I think it even triggered, if I goes back far enough, I think, yeah, here it is at 8:20. Now, I wasn't watching it right there because, we get a few stocks, and this is the pre-market right there. And so this is when the market opened. So, a lot of stocks are coming through. But later on, I mean, it kept triggering TRV, not TRV, yeah, 874, 889, kept getting trigger after trigger after trigger on this one. And I was late. Again, I was late. Market's down. I mean, I don't know what it's down right now, but it was down over 400 points. And so, again, it's really tough to commit yourself to going long when the market is in such a bad downtrend. But again, looked at this, thought, okay, this is definitely trading on its own. And so I ended up taking the trade right here at 942. So by rights, probably should have got into this trade around 916. So I'm very, very late. Not telling people that that's what they should do, but again, sometimes it's a bit of a gut. I look at something that's very strong on a day when the market is weak, and you can look at it this way that, well, there are people out there that just don't want to short. They don't feel comfortable shorting, and they want to hop onto anything that's a bit of a locomotive for that day. And so this was obviously the one. So it's not like people had a lot to choose from for stocks that were really ripping. So that was my thought about taking the trade right here. It was at 944 actually. And I sold some at 973. Actually, I sold, yes, 973 and 983. It did pop above 10. Thought about trying to get in here. I mean, because again, here is the red bar ignored right there. Excuse me. And I really thought a lot about getting into the trade there, and I just didn't. And in this particular case, it's a good thing I didn't. Would have got stopped out, especially if it went down through 10 like it did, and now it is dropping. Just for fun, I want to just bring up the daily on this one and just see what's happening. Yeah, so this is the daily move. I mean, this is the daily move for this stock. So have to watch this one tomorrow. I don't know what the news is, have no idea, but have to watch this one tomorrow. The only other stock I should go over, I guess, because I know there were a few people in the room that did play this one. Again, I'll bring it up on the 15-minute candle. And here is, Dollar Tree just got trashed, $76 down to $72. And people were getting short here. I obviously took some profit here. I ended up taking this trade at, what was my price? 70.72. So it was right as it broke down through, so it had the pull up. And as it broke down through $70, I mean, I'm very, very late on trying to get into this trade, but I decided to take the trade right here. Let me just put a horizontal line right about here. As it looked like it was trying to consolidate here. See how again the buyers tried to take it over 71, sellers took over again, and so I took the trade right here. Really nice trade. I mean, it got actually down to 69.65. I did not, unfortunately, get out there. I got out at 70.25. I took everything. Actually, 70.07 is where I got out. Right about there is where I took my profit, and then it popped down through, and I took the balance out around 70.25. But you know, um, again, this trade for me was a chase. And the only reason I took it is because it broke down through $71. The market was weak. It was obviously a weak stock, and so I decided that okay, I'll take some. Obviously, even if I had broken back up through 71, I would have exited the trade really, really quickly, but it didn't do that. So this has to be probably watched tomorrow also because it's is this right? I thought it was I thought it had gone. Just a minute here. Yeah, I guess it is. So it is just above $70 now. So, later on, it's still an hour left in the market. If this goes back down through $70, there's a chance that I could take this trade again as a short, just as a scalp because the low is down here around 70 69.60. So anyway, that's it. Uh, first of September, historically, September is the worst month for the market. When I say worst month, I mean I'm talking about people who love to get long, of course. I mean, as a day trader, I guess I don't care. Though, let's face it, it is easier to make money when the market goes up, no question. More people want to trade, more people get into stocks when the market goes up. There's not as many people who want to short when the market goes down, and a lot of people just sort of sit on the sidelines. So historically, September is the worst month in terms of market performance. So, I would get your short hats on this month, even though I did take a couple of bounces. But I'm definitely going to be leaning short for the balance of this month. All right, that's it for today. And let me just bring back the cover. Here again is here's the address to get into the room. You can log in with your Facebook or your Twitter account, and I hope to see you in the trading room tomorrow.